without any shame, without flinching or blinking, to mobilize and animate and energize.
Nicole Wallace is literally talking about herself. That's all these people do is project. Literally, that's what she does. She's trying to go on in this clip to say that Trump energizes his supporters to, just be mindless robots and get violent. Yet this is what she does after Trump was shot. So the fact of the matter is many people know about MK Ultra, right? That the CIA did in the 60s and the 70s. All of these experiments with the science departments even to understand how the mind worked and manipulating people, whether it was using psychedelics or just different things they did, okay? So they learned a lot in those studies, and many of those studies they destroyed, so we never even saw them. But there were hearings on this, so it's not a conspiracy theory. But literally, that's what CNN and MSNBC and the women on The View do. They literally are doing that. They've been doing it to the public, most especially the people that support their party, which they all support the far left. That's what they get paid to do, is push the far left narrative. So, and they have long before Donald Trump came in. MSNBC and CNN has always been like that, and The View. That is their role, is to mind control the public. And of course, the people that do groupthink, the left, literally will get pulled into that very easily. So for 8 years, we've watched, many conservatives have watched on the outside, and the Democrats that figured it out and got away from it, that they're literally, the news media has been manipulating the public. This is why they scared people practically to death during COVID. Kept people glued to their TV. Oh no, everybody's dying around me. Oh, I can't breathe the air. I can't go anywhere. They terrorized you. It's part of manipulation. It's what narcissists do. It's mass narcissists that the women on The View do, that CNN does, that MSNBC does. It doesn't matter what host, whether it's this witch, Nicole Wallace, or it's Joe Scarborough, or Mika. They all do it. Don Lemon, Chris Cuomo, when he was on there, they all do it. They literally picked up where the CIA left off with manipulating the public. So when you spend 8 years, 24/7 doing nothing but push hate about Donald Trump, then that's how you get to a shooter on a building at a rally that tries to kill Trump. The media is absolutely responsible for this, but they're so twisted in their own head. They're so sick. They're so criminal that what they want to do is talk about how Trump has galvanized his supporters to get violent. We've never gotten violent. Don't even start with the January 6th thing, because that was like every other group, has been infiltrated by FBI. And that's what FBI is known for. Look into their history. They do it with every group. They infiltrate it because they want to either use it for some reason or they want to give it a bad name. So the FBI does this all the time. So they put MAGA hats on. They infiltrated the crowd. This came out in hearings, okay? They were the ones that caused the violence, to make Trump supporters look violent. Because up until that day, we hadn't done anything violent. The left did, though. They did all during summer of 2020 with BLM and Antifa, burning cities down, burning cop cars down, burning people's small businesses down in cities across the country. And yet MSNBC, The View, CNN all supported that. I mean, Chris Cuomo literally went to the place of saying, since when did anybody say that a protest has to be peaceful? They got in no trouble. They were let out of jail in all your Democrat cities. So that side is violent. The Nicole Wallace is violent. She's just psychologically violent. She's a manipulator. She's a narcissist. So is everybody on CNN. So is everybody on MSNBC, because they have an obsession with their hate for Trump. And all they do on The View too is push their rhetoric, all of their hate. That's all there is to them, because that's all they talk about, is how much Donald Trump's a Hitler. Donald Trump's going to take away all your rights. No, Biden has. Okay, it's not easy to it's not hard to put together here. Biden literally mandated masks. He mandated shots. Trump didn't do any of that. He said, leave it up to the people, leave it up to the governors, the states. And what states wanted to be dictators? Well, the Democrats did. They kept everybody in lockdown the longest, played on everybody's fear. It was absolute psychological abuse. And every single day that CNN is allowed to continue on the air and MSNBC is allowed to continue on the air, and The View is, they are committing psychological abuse that leads to people eventually becoming hateful at Trump. It's so hateful that after 8 years, I'm surprised it didn't happen before 8 years, that literally somebody gets a gun, gets on a rooftop, and decides to try to assassinate Donald Trump. And what can the Nicole Wallaces or CNN or MSNBC take any accountability for their responsibility in pushing their hate and their lies? Do they come clean and show that they're a classy, outstanding person because they're willing to be honest? No, they continue even after Donald Trump is shot to talk about how Donald Trump and his supporters are the problem. No, they are the violent side. They are the narcissists. They are the manipulators. They did it all through COVID. While they sat there and told you, we're trying to keep you safe and keeping you informed. No, they were literally trying to scare the hell out of you because they support dictators. So everything they say about Trump is really them and who they support. It is not hard to put together here. But if you've been manipulated and mind controlled by these news agencies that have no class, that have no integrity, that have no dignity, because they couldn't do the right thing if they wanted to, then you literally have been psychologically abused. You have. You've been abused and manipulated and conditioned to hate Trump. I mean, if you hated him before he became president, then fine, okay? Maybe you just always have hated him. But if you're somebody that had no opinion about the man, but suddenly along the way found that you hated him so much you couldn't stand when he came on the TV, then that's a direct result of the bitches on The View, of CNN, of MSNBC, of Nicole Wallace, Joe Scarborough, Don Lemon, all of them. Take your pick. They still continue to do it. They don't have enough class to do the right thing. Trump supporters have never been violent. They literally wanted to make Trump supporters look violent because they had nothing up until 2020, and they still did it. Because the actual Trump supporters there, if you go, the one thing CNN and MSNBC won't show you is all the video. I mean, everybody videoed. And it shows, and it came out in hearings who was causing the violence. It's why the other thing CNN and MSNBC won't tell you, or The View, is how Lynn Cheney and Adam Kissinger, the heads of the Unselect Committee that wanted to go after Trump, and again, Trump was never charged with insurrection, so there was no insurrection. But they literally destroyed the documents because they know they were lying. Besides, there's videotape showing they're lying. Nancy Pelosi herself said that she's responsible for not allowing the National Guard to be there because Trump wanted them to be there. So this is all the things that CNN and MSNBC don't tell you, which is why they're trashy people. They put a lot of makeup on and put some nice clothes on. It doesn't mean they have class. It doesn't mean they have integrity. It doesn't mean that they're good people. They're not. They're total deadbeats that are literally manipulating people into having so much hate, being conditioned by hate, to where then people want to go and kill Donald Trump. And let's face it, it's not like some of these hosts haven't pretty much said that they would like to see that happen to him.